Hey guys,
welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome.
you see, I'm not even looking. I'm just like keeping a straight face.
It's so easier when I'm by myself.
Yeah, no. Hey guys,
welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. And in this video, I'm gonna be doing a mukbang with my dad. Mukbang.
That sounds French. Okay, yeah.
Mukbang. And we're just gonna be chatting and yeah.
Chatting and eating.
Yeah, chatting and eating.
Okay, I mean.
And we're gonna be talking about just like self-esteem, confidence, and all that.
Okay.
So before we get into the video, make sure you like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel.
Awesome. Well, anyway, thank you for having me on this awesome channel, and yeah, make sure you subscribe to my daughter's channel. Okay.
So I got some questions about like self-esteem and how to be confident in your own skin and stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this.
Okay. It wasn't working. Okay.
In this video. So like me, I'm still trying to like figure out who I am and stuff like that. But like my dad, he knows who he is. Right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. He can offer more.
That's true.
About self-esteem, confidence, and like how to get into the world in your own skin. So that's why I'm doing this video with him, and I'm just gonna ask him some questions that I got, and just see like how he answers it.
No pressure.
You have to be eating too.
I need to be eating. Thanks, boss. Mukbang. Okay. I thought I was eating fries, but yeah, I have to eat all of this. Mukbang.
Okay, so first one is like, what's the reasons that people lose confidence?
So I'm trying to talk and chew at the same time. I don't think it's gonna work, but it's called mukbang.
Mukbang.
Mukbang. I don't know. But that's a good question. I think the first assumption is for you to lose it, that means at some point you had it. And that means you were able to build it. And you walked in it and all of that, then maybe something happened. Most times when people lose their self-confidence is because their confidence was put to the test. Something in life happened to them, maybe a traumatic event, maybe a failing event where they failed at something they were good at. And then you begin to question, was I that good to begin with? And was I strong enough? Or maybe people whose opinion matter in your life, you listen to them and they tell you that you're not that great, you're not that wonderful, you're not that beautiful, you're not that strong, you're not intelligent, and things like that. When you trust people's opinion to the point that it resonates with you and it speaks to you, if it's negative opinion, then it begins to weigh you down and makes you doubt who you are. And that's how one of the two ways people lose confidence in who they are. The first one is something happened to them where it put them in a place where they began to question their very identity, their very... I'm trying to make sure fries is going on. Where they question who they are and question their ability to do something based on failing at something they thought they were good at. Maybe you're a dancer, maybe you're a singer, maybe you're an actress, maybe you're a writer, maybe you're in school and thought, man, I've always been great at this thing, and all of a sudden you fail at it and you begin to question, am I good? Or maybe it's a boyfriend situation, all the time you thought, yeah, like I'm gonna go there. We thought you were all hot and everything pretty and all of that, and you've always felt that way, and you go in a relationship in which someone makes you feel like smaller than you are, less prettier than you are, and all of that because of what their opinion means to you and things like that, or maybe because you've empowered that person to be able to speak into your life at that level, and now you're questioning, am I good enough? Do I look good enough? And all of that, am I even the best at being me? Then it's a difficult place to be. So people's opinion, life event that makes you feel like I've failed at something, and also fear, when you're afraid of really being you and owning it. So not that you failed, but you're afraid that the success you've had, at some point everyone is going to find out that you're not that great. So is the fear of your true identity being revealed, or the fear of you thinking everyone is going to think or know that I'm a phony, because inside of you, you've been doing these great things, but you don't own it yet. You don't feel like, yeah, I'm that great. And so you're scared that, something would happen where people would know that I'm not that great. Then all of a sudden you self-sabotage what you're good at, and you begin to lose confidence in who you are. I hope that's what you were looking for. I tried my best, gave it my best shot, but thanks for the fries.
You're welcome. I agree with everything you said.
Thank you.
Are you ready for the next one, or do you want to eat?
I want to eat it, babe, but I think the people are waiting.
Okay, the next one is like, how can someone build confidence?
How can you build confidence? I think the first way to build confidence is to love yourself.
How do you love yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So when I started that self-love thing, and self-love is not selfish, because you have to believe in yourself to the point that you love yourself so much, you feel like, yes, everyone else should love you too. Because you can't sell a product you don't believe in. I remember one day, I wanted to help someone who had a lot of acne on their face. It was like, this thing really attacked this person's face. And what you laughing at? But anyway, I mean, it was bad, and I just felt so bad for this person. So I decided to go to the store, to the mall, they had this product called Proactive, and it was a very good product and for acne and things like that. So I've seen the commercial, P. Diddy was on it, and I think it's Brother Love now. But anyway, so Puff Daddy, you guys know him? Okay, whatever. Anyway, so that guy, Diddy, yeah. So he did all that commercial. He's trying to say I'm old. But anyway, yeah, he's changed his name like 4 times, so it's not my fault. But anyway, so this was a good product, well-endorsed product. So I go to this store, I go to the mall, and I'm trying to buy it. It's like $99. But the crazy thing is, the lady that was selling it to me also had acne all over her face. So that bothered me a bit. I didn't buy it. I actually got this person to go see a doctor, and I just paid for the consultation, because I felt like if you're going to represent that product, then you should also know that it's working for you. It's the same way you have to love yourself to the point that everyone wants to love you too. You believe in yourself so much that people want to love you too. So the first thing is, no matter how tall you are, how short you are, because you see, the thing is, no one can ever be you. And for me, I had to realize that, because when I started, loving myself, I was broke. My head was bigger than my body. I looked like I was a malnutrition kid or something like those ones you see on TV asking for money and donation. I was that kid. I looked that lanky and I couldn't, put sentences together and all of that. I came from the school of hard knocks, And I just had this epiphany about no one could ever be me. No one could be me for me. No one could ever love me the way I would love myself and things like that. So I just said, look, man, I don't care what I look like on the outside. I have to start putting some value on myself on the inside. And I began to put that value on myself. Like, look, you are the best you. No one can ever be you. And I started saying that to myself for years. And all of a sudden, I began to believe what I was saying. And even can we go scripture on these people? Can we break? Yeah, okay. So even the Bible says to love your neighbor as yourself. So that means if you can't love yourself, how do you love someone else? And if you can't love yourself, how do you expect people to love you? It's like trying to sell a product you do not believe in, or the product that is not working for you. You are the best you. No one can be you, tall as you are, short as you are, if you gain some weight, it don't matter. It's you. You own yourself. That's who you are. Your voice was supposed to be the way it is. Your nose is supposed to be the way it is. That's how God created you. Don't try to be someone else. Just embrace who you are, love who you are, and you begin to build that confidence in who you are. Even, today you asked me here because you said, oh yeah, I already know and all of that. It took me a while to get to know myself. Then when you become a father, you have to know yourself again. When you become a husband, you have to know yourself. When you become a business leader, a CEO, you have to, So as you evolve, you have to continue to discover who you are and love yourself in every season. But the most important way to build confidence is self-confidence is love yourself first. And you got to do that. You got to do that. And you got to embrace the things that maybe other people make you feel like they're not good. I remember the first day I was asked to speak in front of people. I was shaking. I ran away, went into the restroom and just sat there for a long time. I wasn't pooping or anything. I just, we can't say poop. But I was sitting over there scared because I was still developing. I didn't feel like I had enough confidence in my vocabulary because I went to school, elementary school, high school, all that in Africa. So English was a bit funny for me, coming up. So I was like, man, I'm going to go there. Instead of saying things in present tense, I'll be saying past tense and present tense mixed up and all of that. I went into the toilet, I was scared. But after a while, I overcame that. I evolved. I embraced myself. I embraced the journey. When I got to America to go to college, initially, I couldn't ask questions in class because of my accent. I was like, oh man, this is something they don't understand me. So I just kept my mouth shut like I was like mute or something. And after a while, I just embraced it again, loved myself. My accent is mine, no one can ever have it. So I started to speak, and all of a sudden, I found my voice and now I speak all over the world, because I embraced myself on the inside. You have to start from within. No one will ever love you more than you care to love yourself. I hope that helps.
Okay, the next one is, how do you love yourself? Because sometimes being confident can come off as cocky. So how do you
balance?
Your confidence.
I always say that there's a fine line between arrogance and self-confidence, or confidence, period. No one wants to hang around someone who's arrogant. It's such a much about who they are and pompous and proud and all of those things. No one wants to be around those kind of people. So what you want to do is make sure that you understand that you have to, when you get to the point where you feel like, okay, I'm confident in who I am, you now have to, I always call it grace with elegance. You know who you are, but the way you come off, it's like you can mess with people on the street and talk to people at that level, and you can walk into a boardroom and kill it, and then, so you can be a boss lady, you can be a sister on the side, you can be a daughter on the side, you can connect with the homeless and connect with presidents at the same time, because what drives you, because when you truly love yourself, you learn to love other people. And so you stay grounded, humility, you stay humble. No matter how strong you become, no matter how you know how to speak for yourself and defend yourself without coming off as snobbish and rude and arrogant and just ugly. It's really, really degrading people. So what you have to always remember is that everyone has a story. And you don't know where other people are coming from. You don't know where they are in their walk. You don't know where they are in their journey. So the fact that you have found yourself is a privilege. The fact that you are confident in who you are is a privilege that you use to lift other people up. Not to put them down, not to break them down. And if you remember to stay grounded and stay humble, you won't confuse self-confidence with arrogance, because you will be able to always pick your words carefully. When you see people on the street, you don't judge them. When you see people who are not as good as you, you don't judge them, because you know what it took for you to get to where you are. And that love that you have for yourself, then you are able to give it to other people. And that's why the Bible is clear about it. Love your neighbor as yourself. So the moment you master loving yourself, it will be easier to really balance that self-confidence by loving people. And when you love people, you don't break them. You don't come up like all boasting and like, I'm going to let them know I'm the man. I'm the main man. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You don't have to be proud to be strong. You just have to be confident in who you are and treat people with respect. And that gives you that balance. I've been talking a lot, huh? All right. Fries now.
Next one is like, how do you, I think we went over it, kind of.
Which one?
Like, how are you like confident in your own skin? You don't have to like change other people to accept you. Like the world, or even like friends or family, like.
So the problem with changing who you are to fit other people's opinion or to be accepted by other people is that people are fickle. So you might change one thing today and they accept you, then you have to change another thing tomorrow, then you have to change another thing the next time. Or let's say, for instance, Sabna, I used to know someone who, depending on who she was dating, she took on whatever the hobby, whatever the other person likes and all of that. Let's say, for instance, she was dating someone who enjoyed climbing, right? So going hiking and all of that. If you met her, you would thought all she did was hiking. Man, she had all the gear, she did all of that. Then she would break up with that person and she would never go hiking again. Then she would date someone else who would enjoy golf, and she hated golf, but she would take on the personality of that person she was with. And she would go golfing and she would break up with that person, and she would meet someone else who would like to go to the club and and she would club and club and club and club and club and club. And when that was over, so one day I just kind of said, so she was like, no, I don't know what to do, because she broke up with the last guy and she was like, I don't know what to do. And we're at lunch, a work lunch and all of that. So we're sitting there in the cafeteria and I just finally just said, but what do you want to do? Who are you? Because the thing is, when you truly know who you are, then you begin to fall in love with who you are. You're comfortable with yourself. And many of us, we are afraid to confront that question of, who am I? Who am I? And I think that's where it begins. It's like, this is me. My name is Israel. I am black. I mean, it is what it is. This is me. I'm not trying to be anyone else. I'm a guy who came from Africa. I'm a guy who has an accent. Everyone does. I'm a guy who had to figure out how to be educated, hustling day and night to figure things out. That is my story. My identity makes me, my journey and my history makes me who I am today. And I do not want to trade it for anything else or anyone else. So when you get to the point where you understand the value of what has made you, your parents went through what they went through so that you can be who you are. You are going through some things. It will make you who you become. And when you get to the point where you look at yourself and you say, every pain, every shame, every difficult thing I've had to go through was to make me this person, and you embrace the identity of who you are, then you don't ever want to be anyone else, because guess what? Everyone else is taken. You are the only you that is available, so no, you can't be anyone else. You couldn't be me in your worst day and in your best day. I am me. I couldn't be her. She's awesome, but the thing is, you have to own you. You have to accept you for who you are. And at the same time, to be comfortable in your own skin, you have to, again, we'll go back to, you have to love your own skin. You have to love yourself. You have to say, this is me. My head is this way, my nose is this way, my ear is this way. And all of those celebrities you look up to, with the exception of those who have done some, construction work on themselves and things like that, some surgery and all of that, most of them have had to work with what they've got and own themselves the way they are. So don't look at, Cardi B or look at this other person and say, oh, I want to be that, I want to be. Be you. Then someone can say, wow, I look up to this person. How do you be a role model if you don't love yourself? How do you be a role model if you don't own your own self and say, this is me? I love me. And all my kids know I love me. It's like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I love myself. It's not like selfish. It's not like self-absorbed, but at the same time, I really enjoy who I am and being me. I'm not perfect, but I own all of my journey. I own all of my challenges. I own it all because I know what I'm working on. I know what I'm great at. I know what I'm not great at. And I don't try to. They all sing good. I don't know how to sing. And I sing, and I think they judge me sometimes, but I really don't care. They be looking at me like, no. So they don't, because everyone just embraces everyone and we do what we got to do. But at the same time, I'm not trying to be a singer. I'm not trying to push into something that I'm not designed for. I stay in my lane. I know my limits. I know who I am. There's this pastor called Stephen Furtick. I was listening to him the other day, and I went on their website and I started to read something on their website about how you should kind of understand your limit as a person. And for me, that was really eye-opening for me because, I'm sitting there, I'm like, sometimes you don't want to accept limitation and say, I can't do that thing. But sometimes you have to understand what you can't do because why? I couldn't be a medical doctor because the moment you cut someone open and I see the blood and I'll just pass out. So I wasn't wired to have that kind of, strong stomach to be able to imagine you're trying to operate someone, then I throw up in that person. So I've messed up the entire system because I can't stand that stuff. I wasn't wired for it. So if I went to school now trying to be a medical doctor, I'm wasting my time. But those who are wired for it, they own who they are. They're able to do it with ease, but I'm not. And you have to know what you can do and what you can't do. And at the same time, stop comparing yourself. It will set you free. If you stop comparing yourself, you will love yourself more. Because you're like, oh, but look at this person, look at that person. I want to be that. I want to be that. Be you. Stop comparing. Even the Bible says by comparing ourselves to one another, we are not wise. So wise up. Stop comparing yourself. I hope that answered your question. I was just going on that one.
I did.
Okay. I'm sweating. We're in the car, y'all.
Car's off.
And the engine is off, so you don't hear the sound. Because she has to have perfect video, you see. But anyway.
That's it.
That's it?
That's all the questions.
Okay.
You ate some food.
I did. So should I eat a little bit more before we close then?
Yes.
Because you got me talking, then you were quiet, then you looking there, then you finish all that food. Well, one more bite for the, what's it called? Min Chow?
Mukbang.
Mukbang. Mukbang, people.
Okay. Anyways, I hope you guys
Is it
enjoyed.
gross?
Huh? No.
Come.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you guys get something out of it. Make sure you like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. And you can follow me on my social media, Instagram and Snapchat. I'll put it down. Do you want them to follow you on anything? He only uses Facebook.
No. I don't have Snapchat. We have Instagram. You can find me there on I am Dr. Daniels. Doctor.
Which is connected to his Facebook. So you basically...
It's also connected to my Facebook, but I'm trying to figure this Instagram thing out, okay? I have some followers on there. You guys don't use Twitter, right?
I don't have a Twitter. I only have an Instagram and Snapchat.
Whatever.
And Facebook, but I don't go on Facebook.
So you guys can find me on Instagram. I'll be there with my old self. Then also I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll put it all down here.
Yeah, she can hook it up. But thank you for having me on this show, though. This is great. I love what you're doing. I'm proud of you. And you guys keep following her. She's doing some great things, and she's asking some difficult questions. And a lot of us, no matter how old you are, how young you are, these are questions we all have. And she's being bold and courageous and putting it out there and talking about deep things. So I'm really proud of you. Keep it up.